Hello class, my name is Eva Repetti and this is my oral presentation for the Capstone project for Capstone University. I will be speaking about violent video games and their effects on behavior. My thesis is that violent video games do not increase aggressive behavior, they do not increase crime rates. The causes are other third variables related to violent acts. People have gained great concern about how much a violent video game can influence an individual. They believe that because of the violent content expressed in this video game, a person may become more aggressive and prone to commit a violent act. However, is this true? No. Research has demonstrated otherwise. A study performed by Ferguson on 603 participants demonstrated no direct effects of violent video games on criminal behavior. This same study also demonstrated that increased exposure to violent video games does not lead to the sensitization of violence either. On another study performed by Xingtang, Mengshong, Shen Su, and Skorik on 135 participants, demonstrated no significant difference in empathy between participants who play violent video games and those who didn't. Basically, violent video games do not show an increase in aggressive behavior. Therefore, can they increase crime rates? No. On a study performed by Marky and French in the year 2014, it was revealed that there were no annual changes in video game sales and violent crimes from the year 1978 to 2011. This means that for 33 years, the increase in sales of violent video games and the increase in crime rates were not associated with one another. As a matter of fact, crime rates tend to be highest during the summer season, around the months of June and July, versus violent video games, which are highest during the winter season, around the months of November and December. They are not associated with one another. There are three very famous violent video games. One of them is called Call of Duty Black Ops, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and Grand Theft Auto 4. The sales of these violent video games were consequential with a decrease in aggravated assaults and homicides. So when these video games were at its highest point in the market, both aggravated assaults and homicides tended to show a decrease in occurrence. So are violent video games the cause behind violent acts? Does a person commit a crime just because they play violent video games? No, there are other third variables that are the real reason why people commit a crime. These are the personality traits and their mental status. Some people may have antisocial traits, some people may be psychotic, some people may be suffering from depression. There are multiple reasons as to why a person will commit a crime, not necessarily because they're being influenced by a violent video game. The incident that occurred in Virginia University, the famous Virginia Tech shooting, was associated with a violent video game. So was the famous Columbine High School shooting. The three shooters from these two crimes were indeed fans for violent video games. However, they also had underlying third variables that are stronger predictors of these violent acts. For example, Shaw was suffering from depression. Eric Harris, was diagnosed as psychopath, and Dylan Klebold was diagnosed as a manic depressive. So these three traits are way stronger predictors of violence than the fact that the three of them enjoyed playing violent video games. In conclusion, violent video games are not going to cause a person to commit a crime. They are not a danger to society. A violent video game is indeed just a game. Society's perception of violent video games is overstated and research does not support it. Violent video games do not increase aggression, they are not associated with increased crime rates, and they are not the real reason as to why a person will ever commit a crime.